Hello, beautiful people, tribe of many colors. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. To all my new subscribers, thank you so much for tuning in and staying with me. For everybody who's been supporting me through all this time, I love and appreciate you always. And I hope you're taking care of yourself. It's been a while since you've seen me, but you know what I say? If you haven't seen me for a while, guess what I'm doing? Guess what I'm doing? Working on myself, reading books, integrating the energy, taking the time to heal myself, right? Because every time I show up, I want to show up with honesty and truth and knowing. Because you can't fake this process. It's getting to crunch time with your ability to stand in your sovereignty, right? You can't fake this process anymore. There's a lot of people who are going to start falling off. You're probably going to be wondering, man, I'm not seeing this person put out any videos. They're not really talking about anything. Because if you've been just on the spiritual bandwagon, right? Maybe you've been promoting a lot of what you know. It's going to be time now to go back to the books, back to the meditation, deeper into self, and really know some more knowledge and information and integrate it. Because sometimes we can get stuck on talking about what we know and we don't go further. We don't study anymore. We don't go deeper into finding out, well, what does it mean for me? How does it change my life? You know what I mean? So it's going to be time to get deeper into our own knowing and our own understanding of how this is all unfolding for us, so that we can come out as master teachers, right? It's time to delve a little deeper, heal a little more, do some more shadow work. That's the energy right now is calling us to do that. So if you don't see a lot of people who you typically see putting out videos, they're integrating, they're learning, they're mastering, so that when they come out in droves, it's going to be at the right time, with the right message, with the right integration. And everybody else who's kind of been faking it, you're either going to have to get on board, or this is where you fall off and go do the work you should have been doing in the first place. Because everything evolves, and this spiritual quest to know self, it evolves, and there's going to be things people are going to come into awareness of, and truths that people are going to discover, that they're going to talk about, and you're going to have to know how to move like that and talk like that. And it can only come from being authentically you. It can't come from just parroting what you hear other people say anymore. This is time to lace up your boots, get on the ground, and really do the work. The way my guys described it is like this. Imagine there's people that live in the city, right? They've never left the city before. And let's say people take off and they go to the desert, right? Some of them, they leave the city, they go to the desert. In the desert, they have these amazing experiences with these unique challenges that only the people in the desert would understand. They come across creatures, animals, things that they develop language for, and ways that they communicate, and signs and codes that they leave for each other to understand how to navigate the desert. When they go back to the city, if someone in the city tries to talk as if they've been to the desert, there's just certain things they're not going to have an understanding for, and certain words they're not going to understand how to use. So if you understand what I'm saying, the desert is the hard experience of overcoming your shadow, of healing, of forgiving, of learning how to communicate, of integrating these energies. It changes you. It changes how you talk. It changes how you react. It changes how you respond. And if someone is trying to pretend that they went through that process, it's going to be obvious that they didn't, because they're not going to know the words to communicate that, to talk about that, to speak honestly about the experience of being in the desert of self, because they haven't taken that journey. So for the people who've kind of taken that journey into the darker, harsher, deeper parts of self, you come out refined, you come out changed, you come out altered. And if someone is going to pretend like they took that journey, it's going to be obvious that they didn't, because there's certain things they're not going to be able to speak on. There's certain ways and language and expression they're just not going to have, because it's in the proof. The truth is in the proving. It alters you. It changes the way you talk. It changes how you perceive. It changes the way you respond. And it's going to be so important that you take the journey into self so that you can show up authentically, because it's crunch time. It's game time. There's going to be a lot of people coming on board because of all the changes that are going to be occurring. Okay? What are some of the changes? One of the biggest changes, and I know this might rattle a lot of people's feathers here, especially if you're very deep into religion, but there's going to be a tremendous amount of change with religion. Why? Because as we evolve into the return, right? The return of the masters here. We are returning to this planet. As we return to the original version of self, the only thing that will be left standing is the truth. So that means in any institution that there is no truth, it's going to have to fall away. It's going to have to fall apart, so that the only thing left standing will be the truth. So if there's falsehood in the economy, in the education, in religion, in politics, in entertainment, in medicine, in any aspect that there is falsehood and fakeness, it's going to have to fall apart, so that the only thing that can be left standing is the truth. And when the religious institutions start to fall apart, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be left needing to fill that space with something. And there's going to be a period where there's going to be a lot of alternative religions that try to pop up to kind of gather those souls and take them in. You know what I'm saying? To kind of do the same thing as before: control their minds, control their wealth, control their perceptions. And you have to be careful that as one institution breaks down, you don't fall for the okie doke of the other one. And a lot of people are going to start these religions with high intentions, but the reason it's going to fall apart is because we are not in the world anymore of creating followers. This is the time period where everyone needs to stand in sovereignty and truth and knowing. You have to know your truth for yourself now. No one can tell it to you anymore. They can guide you to your truth, but you have to know your truth. This is going to be a personal relationship you have with the universe. No one is going to feed you the information anymore. Okay? And if you find that you're driven to people who just want to give you the information and do the work for you, you're going to always end up in a scenario where it pushes you out, because you have to do this for yourself. You have to know this for yourself. Because if you have to stand on the truth, it cannot be what someone told you. It has to be what you know. And so if you're guided to work with others who are going to create new types of institutions, after these false ones start breaking down, make sure it's someone who is guiding you towards your truth, guiding you towards your own knowing, because that's the only thing you can stand on firmly, is what you know, is the guidance you receive. And that's very, very, very important to start thinking that way, to start researching, to start hearing the voice of the universe for yourself. Right? It has to guide you towards healing your traumas. It has to guide you towards healing your body, healing your family, okay? Understanding how to move in this world. That's a deep personal knowing, and no one can do that for you, okay? So that's, the masters are returning, and you are that master, and it's time to master yourself. And another thing I wanted to talk about was all the different ways the masters are going to show up. I can tell you this from personal experience. Masters show up in a variety of forms, in a variety of cultures, okay? In a variety of ways. What's going to be important for you to know when you're in the presence of a master is you're going to have to be able to know soul connection. You're going to have to be able to feel into the energy of a being and know that this is a soul with knowledge and wisdom here. You're not going to be able to just go off words anymore. You're going to have to, it's going to be deep knowing and deep feeling. Okay? I can tell you an experience I had of when I was in the presence of a master. It was a Barnes and Noble, and I was walking around looking for books to buy. And all of a sudden, I just felt a tremendous amount of love. It's as if a wave of love just kind of encompassed me, just hugged me. It was a very distinct feeling because I wasn't in a space of thinking of anything, of trying to feel anything. I'm just looking at books on the shelves, right? And out of nowhere, this overwhelming energy of love just hit my soul. It shook my whole body. My heart just opened up so big, and I'm like, where's this love feeling coming from? I started looking around the store because I'm like, it's like I can feel it was coming from a particular direction. While it felt like it was all around me, I can also feel that it's like when you smell something, right? You smell it right here with you, but you can also feel like that smell is coming from somewhere. It was kind of the same thing, but it was a love feeling. And I just kind of let it sit with me. I started walking around the shelves, and this man came out of nowhere, a young looking guy, had long hair, and he just started talking to me about Reiki and Reiki class he was doing and the books I was reading. And as I was standing there listening to him talk, he's in physical presence talking to me, but I saw through his entire physical self, and I saw the master that was in front of me, and we're having this conversation that's deeper than the conversation. You see what I'm saying? If you stood there and listened to us, we're talking about books, but our souls were having a deeper discussion. And I saw him for who he was, and I'm like, I know the period he came from because I could see him in his Mayan feathered clothing as if I knew him before. And he's in front of me in pants and t-shirt, and I remember laughing because he looked so weird in regular street clothes because I could clearly see who he was and what era he came from, and I knew what he was speaking to my soul. So that's just one of the many experiences I've had, and those experiences are going to happen quite often now. You're going to run into people, and they're going to look at you, but they're going to look past you through to your soul with a recognition. And you might have those experiences where people are like, don't I know you from somewhere? And it's just a smiling and a knowing and a deep love and affection that we're going to develop and feel towards each other. That's going to be its own language. And that's why I say you can't fake this, because that's going to become our way of speaking. It's almost going to become a telepathic feeling. And if you're not on that wavelength because you've been pretending to do the work, when people are having these deeper soul connections, when they look at you to see, hey, are you here? Soul to soul, are you here? Are you awakened? Are you present? You're not going to get those signals. So it's very important to do the work so you can get on to this universal Wi-Fi of communication and start being part of this telepathic community where we know each other soul to soul, because the language has been so corrupted and it's been so misused that it's not going to be about how you talk anymore. It's going to be how you feel. Can I feel you? Can I feel your energy? Are you present? Right? And as these masters show up for us in all these different forms, they are going to connect with us on a different level that's going to give us even more downloads about ourselves and expand our sense of family and expand our knowing. Okay? So this is going to be very, very Very, very important for you to keep going on with your work. Keep working on yourself. Keep healing yourself. Heal the things in your family that you can control, because to heal, if you look at it like I'm trying to heal the whole world, that's a huge task. That's a huge mission. No one person can do that. But what you can do, make amends with the people who've hurt you, who you've hurt, okay? Bring in and recover and repair broken relationships. Heal your old friendships. Release old wounds and old hurts. Start to heal yourself and your home on that micro level. And every single person you affect, you don't know how many people they go out to affect. And we kind of expand the love that way. And what's the end game? When you walk outside, everyone you meet, everyone you interact with will be loving beings. And it will just seem as if the cantankerous, hateful, hurtful, negative people, they're just gonna fade away. It's like you're gonna wonder, like, whatever happened to so and so. They're just gonna. It's almost like they're just gonna kind of phase out and disappear. And you're gonna start to just walk in a group, in a crowd of just so much positivity. Everywhere you go, you're gonna start seeing it. But you have to radiate that first. Okay, be on that level first, and then you start encountering everybody else on that level. So I'll go deeper in my next video about the masters and how they show up and the many disguises they wear, because you have to lose judgment. Okay, if you're someone that you tend to judge someone because of how they look or how they talk or how they present, sometimes a master will present in a way that will trigger you, because you are meant to get over your judgment to get the wisdom and the nugget, the gold nugget of what they have to offer you. But they want to first see, are you capable of seeing with the heart and not the mind? Are you capable of seeing with compassion and not pre-programmed judgment? And then when you can look through to the soul of that being, you gain all the wisdom they've been trying to give you. But you got to look past that, and you'll be surprised who some of the masters are. I mean, it's going to blow your mind. You're like, that person's a master? Yeah. Yeah. You're going to be shocked. What will shock you more is who's been sitting on vast wisdom and just pretending like they don't know anything. Pretending like they need you to teach them. It's kind of like what we do with kids sometimes, right? We pretend like we don't know something to see what they know. So we ask them questions as if we don't know. And they might look at us like, Mom, how do you not know that, right? But all the while, you know. You're just asking them to see how they process their knowing and how they can teach you. And you're trying to see the framing of their mind. Masters do that as well. A master will show up and sit as if they don't have an idea what you're talking about, just to see how you teach. It's almost like to test your spirit, to see where you are, to test the framing of your soul, to see if you can operate without judgment. So I'll go a little deeper into that another time. But I love you. I love you. I love you. Okay, I'll leave it there for now. I appreciate you. Keep doing your work. This is crunch time, okay? We're about to do this. We're gonna start linking up and holding hands and doing this thing for realsy reals. Okay? I appreciate all of you for your constant support and love, and all the comments and responses I get from those pictures that I post in my community. Trust me, I do that for a reason. All the different ones I put out, because I'm going to group them all up and create more videos like the Atlantis video, but it just takes a little time to generate those things. But I appreciate all the love and support I get from my family, from my friends, from people who are going to be my friends, my new subscribers, old subscribers, everybody. I love you. I love you. I love you. And I'll talk to you later. Mwah.